Welcome back to Saints Row Gat Out of Hell. Are you ready to see the game's most important feature? So, Kinzie is your alternate playable character of the game, but don't you worry, she's not just for player 2.
Don't mind if I do.
Anytime you're back here at Ultor, you can switch between characters. So, yeah, I know this game's Gat Out of Hell, but, we're playing as Kinzie for this one.
A Damned Soul's Orientation Guide, Chapter 1. The Damned. Welcome to Hell, O ye of questionable morality. Who you were on Earth no longer matters. When you arrive here, everyone from the mightiest crime lord to the elderly gentleman who takes pens from banks begin the same way, as wretched ghouls wandering the streets. As a shadow of a man, you are stripped of your sins and condemned to a meaningless existence. Eternal playthings for a demonic host who is all too eager to ply his trade.
And the garbage disposal services are terrible. So anyway, we're going to be starting with our quests today. Our first is Gear Up.
Check out the vending machine near the Ultor building. Is it a special vending machine? No. Have you bought stuff from a store already? Probably. But I would be remiss as your guide if I didn't show you the basics.
So yes, there are no stores in general in Gat Out of Hell, or at the very least, not ones you're allowed to use.
This is gonna be bad for my OCD.
But there are vending machines full of weapons. So, right. After we collect some clusters, which of course, are just like the clusters from Saints Row 4, these are for your powers. They're everywhere, prepare to spend some time looking for them. Or at the very least going out of your way for a few at first. Though when I say a few, honestly, if you just go down a city block collecting clusters, you're probably set. So anyway, the weapons in this game are pretty good. It's a situation where I definitely have my favored weapons, but of course we have our usual categories. Default weapons are pretty cheap. These of course are upgradable as well, and hey! Energy Caster is also cheap. It's our only other pistol at the moment, but I kinda wanna be creative. I'll allow myself one normal gun for the time being, and it's not gonna be the pistol. Meanwhile, we've got the Exodus. Brimstone's actually not too expensive either. This, however, is very expensive for reasons. So obviously we're not getting this now. But you better believe, I absolutely want to shoot people with locusts, are you kidding me? So yeah, the weapons in this game are all pretty unique, pretty fun to use, and they even have, relatively expensive special abilities. So here we've got our shotgun, which is the normal weapon we'll be using. Its special ability is full auto, which, combined with unlimited ammo upgrades later in the game, make it really, really disgusting. Alright, so yes, this is the lava cannon. It's definitely the pricier, but it's not as bad as that one SMG. Again, that one's expensive for reasons, but yeah, this one is gonna be a little more on your wallet than the others. Although, weirdly enough, the Lil Croaker is actually the cheaper of the two weapons here, despite the fact that it's clearly the better one. I mean, like, look, I've enjoyed the rocket launchers in the series so far, but like, it's a gun that shoots explosive frogs. Why would I not want that? The beginning upgrades are also pretty cheap as well. I'm gonna go with Jackpot because that means I get more money by using this. So, you know, eventually it'll pay for itself, surely. So yeah, let's just give as much as we can some beginning upgrades and then get to it. Alright, that'll do it.
The vending machines in Hell have weapons.
Hell keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, that does seem like a thing
Really
he'd
should look
like.
to finding those guys I told you about. You're missing out on a lot of opportunities.
Just started, Dane. We'll get to that later in the episode, but first, you might have noticed that this says Loyalty Dane. So, don't get too excited about the fact that this game has loyalty missions. They don't work like they do in Saints Row 4. They kind of just combined mission types in this one.
The Forge is prime real estate in hell. This smoggy shithole is located over the richest mineral veins in the afterlife. You want to hurt Hell's infrastructure? Here's where you do it. Satan could have avoided all of this if he just listened.
Right, so, they're called loyalty missions, but we are going to be going around doing activities. So yeah, like I said, this game's even looser than Saints Row 4 was. So if you weren't too happy about the format of that game, you're probably not going to be too fond of this one either. Though admittedly I do find this to be one of the snappiest Saints Row games to get through. Like honestly, if you just want to pick up and play Saints Row game that's very based on activities, this is like the ideal. You don't need to spend time in a character creator, everything kinda just goes very quickly, there's no time wasted getting you your abilities, and yeah, we're already to activities.
My lawyer, Legal Lee, figured out a way to get some gold-level clients a fast track out of hell. The more abuse you put these guys through, the more years we can shave off. Lee suggested running clients through the designated intersections to boost their punishment. Oh, and dive in front of those vehicles on fire for bonus points. I mean, let's face it, the more they hurt, the sooner we can get these wretched bastards out of here.
While his wife Laura was admitted into heaven, the Heavenly Father was less forgiving of poor Tobias, whose shirtless antics as a crazed drug dealer firmly earned him a place inside the Great Inferno. However, ever the optimist, Tobias tried to look on the bright side of being transformed into a husk. After all, while the removal of his signature dreadlocks was a disappointment, he was finally free from having to wear pants ever again. But while Perpetual Commando appealed to Tobias, he still yearned for Laura and her delightful snickerdoodles. Touched by his story and terrified by his demeanor, Legal Lee worked with renewed purpose to unite the two lovers.
So yes, not only did they find a way to not have you use your superpowers in the insurance fraud missions, they also give you little snippets of random characters that otherwise would not have come up in the game. So yeah, we get to learn the fates of some miscellaneous characters. I think that's pretty cool. Plus, I do also think this is one of the better insurance frauds. This is definitely up there with 2 and 4, despite the fact that you can't use your powers. I feel like the physics are pretty loose and pretty fun to play with. So yeah, that's what there is to the insurance fraud missions. What's up next? Why, it's hellblazing, of course. You can probably guess from the name, but if you're familiar with Saints Row 4, you kinda know where this starts.
Alright, buddy, let's take this opportunity to stretch those wings. I've set up a rudimentary flight path through the city. All you need to do is hit the checkpoints in the order they appear. Now, because I'm a swell guy, I put some orbs out there to help you. The white ones will recharge your wings. The green ones will give you more stamina. Let's go.
The twist here is, though, this one is actually based on the flight mechanic, so yeah, honestly, I think this is just as strong in this game as it was in Saints Row 4. Saints Row 4 was, mostly ground-based, but did have you go through the air a little bit. It was a bit of a back and forth. Hellblazing in this game, however, is a test of your ability to fly, and yeah, as I've mentioned before, I really love the flight mechanics in this game, so you better believe I'm absolutely down for racing as well. It's also worth noting that sometimes Hellblazing can also lead you through some interesting paths that you might want to remember for later, for some collectibles when those are available. Just, you know, a suggestion. Next on the list is Mayhem. You know how Mayhem works, but Dane can still explain it for us. I mean, what else does he have to do in Hell? Important business for Ultor? Pfft, who cares about that?
Okay, I have a thought on how we can get the attention of Satan, and I really think you're gonna like this one. Blow the shit out of everything, and I mean everything! Demons, cars, fences are real popular. Just tear this place apart.
I do love how excited Dane gets about our missions. You know, I would have thought he's against it, but you know, he does actually seem like he's pretty happy causing mayhem in Hell. Anyway though, yeah, this works exactly as you think it does, because it works exactly like it does in all the other games. I mean, can you really think of that many other ways Mayhem could work? And even if you could, do you really want it to work differently? It's an excuse to blow stuff up. That's always what it's been, and that's always what it's going to be. Don't tell me if I'm wrong, if it actually works differently in the reboot. I don't know yet.
Everyone's chasing the Stygian dream down here. A way to make hell just a little more tolerable. And when you're surrounded with that amount of desperation, believe me, it's easy to find people who lay it all on the line for next to nothing. Some folks think I had all this handed to me and I take advantage of people, but here's the God's honest truth. In life and in death, I worked for everything that I had. Opportunities mean fuck all if you do nothing with them. Most of these poor bastards down here whine about their lot in life, but are unwilling to do anything about it. That's not me.
I always love a villain who buys their own bullshit. I just think that's always interesting.
This is bad for my OCD.
Anyway though, the next mission is actually a new type of mission. And never mind the fact that we don't have Blast yet, that won't be a problem.
Alright, it's salvation time. Satan's using his magic to send souls skyward and downward into oblivion. That's where you come in. Catch the falling souls before they hit ground and use an arcane blast to free the souls rising upward. Of course, once you do that, you'll still have to catch them before they drift off to their death. Speed is key here. You'll get a bonus for every soul you can save before touching down. Now let's go save some clients. I mean souls. Poor souls that need help.
So yes, Salvation is also a flight-based activity. The name of the game here is Precision. You want to fly about and collect souls, and as you go, you basically want to aim for the guys going up with Blast and collect them. Your combo can only go so high, and they're not as useful once you actually do max out your combo. What you want is the guys falling. They are your main source of points. And in addition to that, they also restore your flaps, so the more you're able to collect, the better you'll do. I definitely had a few hiccups in this run of Salvation. for the most part, this is definitely a pretty easy minigame to do. But again, I like flying in this game, so it is kind of nice to have more of a do things version of flying rather than just a race one. But yeah, as long as you can keep a combo going, you'll finish these missions in no time. That being said, it definitely would have helped to have some upgrades for this one. And like I said, I did have a few botches here and there, so this was not the ideal run, but it still ended in me getting a gold. Our last activity for Dane is going to be Extraction.
You've just entered one of 4 soul extraction facilities. This is where souls enter hell to have their sins removed and then thrown to the streets to wander for eternity. Now make no mistake, this isn't Satan being magnanimous. Sins are the currency in hell. That means these places are the cornerstone of his income. There's 3 sections of the facility, and to fully take it over, you need to capture all 3. But be careful. Satan's goons are going to be looking to reclaim any section you're not guarding. We pull this off, you'll hurt Satan and Ultor makes money. It's win-win.
So yes, this is a very, 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 very simple point capture mission. It's pretty much just go to one side of the building, kill everybody there, capture that point, and either be thorough, or be fast, or heck, just be efficient. They can take back control points, but even if they do, it's not the biggest deal, so failing to notice enemies or failing to go quickly enough isn't really that punishing. And honestly, they kind of just run out of enemies very quickly, so like I said, if you're thorough enough or fast enough, you can just take all the control points and they'll never even take them back. And so yeah, like I said, that's it for Dane.
Great work. Ultor's moving into the territory you freed up, and we're already seeing a difference. I can't wait to see what happens when we own it all.
Probably the same thing that always happens.
All of this if you just
We get a lot of money, we get a lot of upgrades. Speaking of which, let's see what we've got for upgrades for now. So, right, I ended off every episode by looking over the upgrades, so we can get a quick gauge of what there is. As always, I think the sooner you get the cash or experience bonuses, the better. For now, stamina is actually useful in this game because Keith David isn't around to get us the really good upgrades just yet. And of course, we can use clusters for our main abilities. So yeah, flight is definitely my major focus. Sprint is also good, but frankly, the sooner you get flight up and running, the better. I already think that flight feels great, but what if it was even more good, though? Have you ever considered that? Flight, but extremely good. So you might also have noticed I did say end of every episode, but we're not quite through the episode just yet. I was not kidding when I said I was going to do an abbreviated run. We're going to be doing the first of the closest thing this game has to story missions, and that is meeting up with our future allies in Hell. And the first up on the agenda is a pair that we're actually well familiar with. It's the twins. Kiki and Viola were in Saints Row the 3rd. One of them died and the other joined the Saints, but then later she died on Earth anyway, so now they're both in Hell. I will say, one thing this game definitely does do is it does actually have some pretty smart pulls for its other characters. Admittedly, I was surprised that Kiki and Viola were the only Saints Row originals other than Dane to be our allies, but Honestly, the other characters are pretty solid too, though we won't be seeing them till next time. This episode is meeting all the people we already know, and doing their loyalty missions we already met with Dane in the previous episode. Anyway though, yes, so, the twins. They're hanging out in this garage here, and they've set up their own little racket. Honestly, they've been pretty busy during our time in space and, well, space and mostly a simulation. Either way though.
We're standing in a parking garage. I don't like it either, but Centerpool isn't giving us many options. I can't believe they tried to force us out. I can't believe you forgot the mimosas. I think we have bigger problems. I don't think you realize how much I love mimosas.
Viola! Thank God you're okay.
How do you know Viola?
We're like sisters.
I am her sister.
No need to get territorial. We can all share.
I'm not sharing my sister with you!
Someone's got puritanical hang-ups.
What did you say? Let it go!
So, when we're not wasting the 10 minutes that Kinzie gets for a loyalty mission, it is actually very funny when she just sort of makes assumptions about her relationships with people around her. It really is like the bit with Cyrus, except actually funny. I do genuinely like that she just has this previously unseen friendship with Viola. And she genuinely just seems to be kind of happy to make friends with both of them. Usually we just have a picture of Kinzie with the boss where she winds up being really sarcastic, but she genuinely can be very friendly. She's just also a weirdo.
No, it's really important to me that you two get along. Can we talk about this later?
Classic Kiki. Always deflecting.
Classic Kiki? I've never met you.
I know everything about you.
She grows on you. I promise. Great!
Yeah, so, one thing this game definitely does well is it actually made me really appreciate Viola and Kiki as characters. I definitely didn't care much about Kiki at all, on account of she died before she could particularly be a character. And Viola was okay, but now that they're together, they actually have a great dynamic. And honestly, again, I just really love what's going on with Kinzie. And just making weird assumptions about her relationship with people. I'm glad we could at least establish that in a way that's funny, and again, not in a way that feels like a waste of getting to know her better as a character. I mean, I guess she got to be important for most of Saints Row 4, but I still don't like that her loyalty mission kinda sucked. I'll never forgive them for that. I will hold this grudge forevermore. Oh, who am I kidding? No, I'm not. I'm already bored of it. I can't be angry at something that dumb for that long. What do you think I am, a gamer?
We should get you back to the altar building.
Hooray!
After being reunited in hell, Kiki and Viola wasted no time in doing what they do best: facilitate the running of businesses. However, the De Winter sisters' success did not sit well with other would-be power players in hell. The sisters' operations all came under attack at once, forcing them on the run. Soon, the twins found themselves on the receiving end of an offer they couldn't refuse. After all, it was better to own 1/5 of something than to be dead.
If the game has to abbreviate its story, I'm glad we at least get some neat art to go along with it.
Helped us. Now let us help you. Here's a little something made popular by another group of sisters, the Gorgons.
Right, so now we officially have Blast. We start out with these stone elements. The elements in this game, I think, are much better done than they were in 4. Also, here's diversion armor. I'm never going to do these.
Alright, Dane's letting us use his Ultor training room to test out your Stone Blast power. So go ahead and blast these demons to turn them to stone. After they're petrified, you can use your pistol to shatter them.
So yes, gone are the days of the explosion element kind of dominating everything.
Nice! Stone Blast is especially useful on flying demons like this one.
Stone is just a really fun effect to start out with, and there are other good ones too.
Alright, now let's see you drop a few more.
We'll be seeing one other new blast effect later, thanks to the loyalty missions of this game. Otherwise, for the most part, alternate elements in this game, are harder to come by if you're only doing the loyalty missions.
A blast will also take down the shield of a Dark Insider, leaving it vulnerable to gunfire. Take this Dark Insider out. I think you've got the gist of it. Alright, let's go.
Just as a word of warning, yeah, you're definitely going to want to seek out altars yourself. I am going to wait until we actually do cleanup to get all of those, which, if you're playing on your own, you might not want to do that. Really, in general, I think the game expects you to go after your powers first. That's not how I'm going to cover it, though. In terms of the progress meter of this game, I definitely think they expected you to just go after your allies first.
We called in some favors and found the president. They've been trapped inside some sort of soul crystal inside Satan's palace. The only way you're gonna save them is by drawing Satan out, so keep doing what you're doing.
Already was. That completely made me lose my train of thought. Yeah, given the format of this game, the Satan meter, I do think they want you to collect up your powers, and then you get sort of your first event on the meter. More or less, after doing that. Instead, I'm actually going to be doing a different format. I'm going to be rescuing an ally, and then I'm going to be doing their loyalty mission. So yeah, that's just going to be format for the rest of the game. So, today we'll also be covering the Twins loyalty mission.
Downtown looked like a shithole when I first got here. In all fairness, you were in hell. True, but where others saw status quo, I saw opportunity. I knew that if I wanted to revitalize downtown, I would need clout and capital. I just needed to find the right business venture to get started. I looked at the market and saw that Centerpol was the only game in town for defense and law enforcement, and knew I could create a powerful alternative. Soon, Cerberus Security was founded.
Which will give us a few more mission types. And again, it's gonna give us a new ability, so we can discuss that a little more in a bit.
My sister and I built downtown, and we're not giving it up without a fight. Dane keeps asking me to set him up with Kiki.
Well, okay then. Right, so what's our first mission? It's another mayhem. This time, though, it's a tank mayhem. Though honestly, this one in particular was surprisingly hard for me. You definitely want to head towards the repair spots that you can see on the map, because this tank isn't quite as sturdy as you might like. Then again, we are one tank against the forces of hell, so even if it is a hell tank, they do have a bit of firepower on their side. Next on the list is the Soul Blast Altar. Oh goody, we're already getting to our alternate blast power.
Hey, looks like you kicked the dust off one of those ancient altars. Whenever you find the right power to activate one of these things, and let's be honest, you have 4 to choose from, it's not rocket science, you'll be imbued with a new arcane element for that power. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it kinda is. Once you steal the power from the altar, a bunch of Guardians will appear and try to kill you. But if you use your new power to clear them out, it's yours to keep.
Now you can send vengeful souls screaming at your enemies. Don't worry too much about aiming. The souls will know. Go.
So yeah, now we have a homing shot on Blast. So just as a note, when you are using an altar, you are forced to use the new power you're getting, which makes sense. It wouldn't be much of an introduction to our new power if we just switched back to stone. So yeah, admittedly, despite the fact that this is a homing shot, it is a very good ability, but it's not my favorite blast, weirdly enough. I do kinda just like the stone effect, and there is one other ability for us to get with blast that I do like more. But yeah, like I was saying before, I do really like the powers in this game. I think they do a good job of actually diversifying what each power does, and giving them more unique abilities than just, here's another element, here's Explode, which is just going to be the best thing ever, because you're mostly just fighting normal enemies. And so the thing that does really good against normal enemies is really going to excel in this game. Who would have guessed? So yeah, once you kill enough enemies, then you unlock the power for good. So yes, just 7 more altars to go. Like I said, most of these are going to appear in the cleanup episode, which is a bit of a shame because they are a lot of fun to use. Anyway though, like I was saying, I'm doing this in a bit of a weird order. I don't think they wanted you to quite cover the game like I'm covering it, because the Satan meter fills up at weird, awkward times for me. Again, I'm pretty sure if you were to go after your powers first, this would feel a little cleaner. Because eventually when you do fill up that first notch in the meter, Dane will actually call you with a conversation.
Stop tearing up hell.
Thanks.
I need you to stop.
What?
Do you really think Satan could still be thinking about Jezebel's wedding after all the damage you've done? I'm telling you, the devil is about to react in a big way, and when he does, we need to be ready.
Right, so that leads to a cutscene that I don't want to show off just yet. In the meantime, though, after that first notch goes off, when you step back out into the overworld, a new mechanic emerges.
Looks like Satan's noticed that the current disruptions have been caused by everyone's favorite winged terrorist, and he's looking to do something about it. Display spire emplacements all around the city. Now, these things look like slimy tentacles, but make no mistake, they can shoot you out of the sky. The only way we can stop these things is to literally rip out their hearts. And by we, I mean you. I'll be at the office drinking scotch.
Good for you, buddy. So yes, now Hell has anti-air. Great. That being said, the good news is, these spires are actually just temporary. They pretty much work like the, not the hotspots, the, whatever the little checkpoints were in Saints Row 4. Except these are actively dangerous because it's not just enemies protecting in important spots. Again, these are anti-air, so if you get caught by them, it's gonna hurt. There are only 26 in the game though, so once you rip out all those hearts, you don't have to worry about any anymore. Also as a note, there are no loyalty missions that will ask you to destroy spires, so... Well, I mean, it's not like there's dialogue connected to any of the missions anyway, other than the beginning and the end of them, but yeah. Individual activities don't get dialogue in this game. So, don't worry in any capacity about missing any for removing spires. Nobody cares about whether or not you slay spires, you just do that when they annoy you, and eventually they'll be extinct. And that's pretty much the name of that game. Anyway though, next we have survival missions, which are a mission type we have not done yet.
There's lots of ways to get Satan's attention, but we should never forget the classic, rampant fucking murder. Pride is a sin the devil's army has in spades, so if you want to pick a fight, you can bet your ass they're coming in droves.
So yes, these aren't necessarily just mayhem missions. And no, I didn't die there, I just had to re-record for whatever reason. I don't remember if I had to go prepare dinner or something, or if the game crashed, but I did not lose. I actually did this game deathless. I just had to reset again for one of two reasons. Which, hey, before we cut away to the next thing, I would like to mention, I do like this game, but let's list a few downsides first. One of them that is irrelevant to the thing I was just saying, no radio in this game. You kinda just have to play your own music, because otherwise you mostly just get hell ambience. And a little bit of original music, but yeah, considering this is just a side game, there's no radio stations. I get it, music rights can be a pain, but it is a bit too bad that you mostly just get silence or ambience in this game. I would have thought it would be a perfect excuse to just get the Saints Row original songs, because those have been fine so far, but yeah, not a lot of music in this one. Anyway though, the other thing that I have to say that is relevant to what I was talking about before, This game is crash-prone. In fact, it might actually be the most crash-prone Saints Row game I've played, which is saying a lot, because I was playing Saints Row 1 on emulator, and I was playing the PC port of Saints Row 2, which is notoriously not exactly stable. But yeah, no, if I was not careful, I would crash very easily. I think especially if I, like, quit or come back in or something. I think sometimes maybe my attempts to section off, some of the footage might have screwed over later footage. Either way, though, yeah, I'm definitely not the biggest fan of the stability of this game, or lack thereof. Anyway, though, enough about that. We actually have another new mission type, Marshalling Ground.
Alright, you found one of the marshalling grounds. Satan uses these things to arm and send off armies to crush his enemies. If you convert all the control stones, we should be able to use them to get around hell even faster. Predictably, there's a terrifying archdemon protecting the marshalling ground, so it's gonna be a fight. Don't worry, though. Well, maybe you should worry. It's a scary fucking demon, but whatever. You'll figure it out.
So yes, the Marshalling Grounds are another kind of kill arena. In this case, though, they are done for a purpose. After we complete this, we'll be able to warp. Well, after we complete a second one of these things, we'll be able to warp, which, admittedly, is not particularly useful in this game. Like in Saints Row 4, I think you can get around the map just fine with your superpowers. I would much rather just fly to my destination than go to a specific spot in order to teleport. And yes, you have to be at the marshalling ground to teleport. It's not just a case of, if you're just standing about wherever, you go to the menu and choose one. No, you gotta be in one to use it. Again, I'd rather just fly because flying's fun. Anyway though, let's go over some of the enemy types here. Because that is a thing that I do think Saints Row Gat Out of Hell does better than 4. It's enemy types. I feel like there's a better variety of them, and at the very least, they introduce them a lot sooner. Which, yeah, Saints Row 4 does not have a lot, and it doesn't introduce most of them until, like, halfway through the game. I mean, I guess in fairness it does introduce the kill bots early, but it doesn't introduce the superpowered guys. Either way though, yeah, our main dudes are demons. They're just kind of your standard guys and gals. There are also flying demons. They are a bit of a pain. And then there are the Dark Insiders, who have a barrier that you need to destroy. They're probably gonna be the bane of your existence, though pretty much all of your superpowers do have some kind of secondary functionality that really kind of wrecks their ability to form a shield. We've also seen the Legionnaire, which is kind of just the demon version of a brute. They're very big, they rush at you, and they take a while to kill. At least they do for now. Honestly, the more upgrades you get in this game, the easier it'll be to kill just about anything, which sounds pretty obvious, but this is definitely a game where, once you have your abilities, you will wipe the floor with just about anything. Which is why I'm actually not going to be doing a lot of the HP upgrades just yet. I'll do the regular ones, but I'm gonna try not to do regen until later. You know, just to add a little more challenge to this. That and there are other abilities I want to buy. Anyway though, the last enemy type we'll be talking about for now is the Archduke.
Prepare yourself. Now, please, Marble!
These are the guys that you'll be getting if you max out your notoriety, or when you want to complete a marshalling ground. So yeah, thankfully they don't have the same gimmick as the Wardens from 4. You don't have to end with any sort of button mash against them, you just need to kill them normal style. And this guy, for some reason, just really didn't feel like trying. I don't know what it is. Was it the locusts I was shooting into his butt? Maybe that's it. I can see why that would be a bit uncomfortable. So yeah, like the Legionnaires, they are large and have a lot of HP, But also they have a sword and shield, so they're even tougher. But honestly, the biggest thing is, you can just remember, oh right, I've got superpowers, and you've got a pretty good toolset to use against them, in all honesty, so... yeah, they are definitely closer to a boss than most enemies will be, but they still have their weaknesses, and as long as you put in enough effort, they'll go down without too much issue. The camera really didn't want to focus on his death. Look, the cameraman's a big Archduke fan, and they really didn't want to see them go. Alright, that's the first of 5 marshalling grounds. Find them all and win a prize, which is a lot more useful than just teleporting. Anyway though, the only other thing we really need to do is one more hellblazing and then we're done. And we can go see Kiki and Viola again. So yeah, because of the way this game's set up, we don't have the most time for Kinzie to talk to them, which I guess is for the best so that Kinzie's bit with Kiki wouldn't get stale, but even still, it would have been nice to see a little more of them in a story, but as far as extras go, I do actually think that we get plenty of insight into their character from the various audio logs we can find. And like I said, it is actually really cool that we get to see them in action in this game. I really think that gives the both of them kind of the energy they were lacking in the third. Admittedly, I am surprised that we get no Oleg in this game. I think it would have been nice, especially with Kinzie's relationship to him, but I guess if we did have to choose any saint to get to know better, or saints plural in this case, it would have to be the twins. They didn't really get much. And the only other character I can think of that might need a little bit of a boost would be Lynn. Lynn really did get the short end of the stick, and never really got any extra time to be a little more interesting as a character. Though it's also weird with how much emphasis they placed on Zombie Lynn, that we don't actually get to see Lynn in Hell. There is actually another saint in Hell that we can find in a husk form, but we'll talk about him a little later, because he's another diversion.
We're done.
Great job. Centerpole is on the ropes. Keep the pressure on and downtown will be ours in no time. If Satan never decided to step out of his ivory tower, he'd realize there's a lot more people gunning for his spot than he thinks.
And he probably expects a lot of those people. Alright, so we'll just speed through the upgrades real quick. Like I said, I'm only really doing these at the end, so like, I probably could have gotten wage bonus sooner, but I didn't. Oh well. We also get the introduction of Friend of the People, which is a really fun upgrade that makes it so husks will actually gang up on enemies if you're fighting around them, and that's pretty neat. It's not particularly useful, you can do more damage, but honestly, I just kind of like the idea of that conceptually. I'm glad we have it. Either way though, that's it for the episode, except I did take quite a bit of time going around finding more clusters and a few more audio logs. Or character reactions, technically speaking. But that is just about the end of the episode, so yeah, let's see the extra dialogue.
Aside from the screams of tormented souls, it's actually quite lovely.
And with that, we'll return to Ultor, and now we'll go back and see that cutscene I skipped the first time.
Satan didn't have much time to react to the war Gat was waging, because at home, Jezebel was waging a war of her own.
I don't love them!
You think I care?
If you started acting like a father, you would.
I'm looking after your best interest.
You don't care about my happiness! This is about you! If you just stop telling—
You will marry that saint, and I won't hear another word!
I won't do it!
You think because you're my daughter, you think that you're above it all. But schemes are currently in motion. Your choice, be a wife or be a thrall. They say the devil's in the details, and I have some more for you. Celestial light doesn't shine a ray here. Happy endings are through. You belong to me. I'm giving you away. Your blood will not save you. My hand will be cruel if you disobey. You belong to me.
Never. I'm sick of perdition, so tired of tradition, but now my time has come to go break away, to live for today, to stand out beneath the sun. I know there has to be some way for me to be free, just living a life that's far from the strife and torturous pain, someplace that's far from here and not awash with fear. Oh God, I can't wait to cast off this hate. I want to find love. There's a big wide world for me to explore. So many things that I don't know. Like, would I like ice cream? How do I feel about cats? And is Nightblade my new favorite show? But until that time, I'm stuck in this hell, a relentless tempest of rage. Surrounded by guards, betrothed by my father, trapped inside this gilded cage.
It's not working, Kinzie.
You don't know that, Johnny.
Tearing this place apart, but Satan doesn't even seem to...
We didn't come this far to fail.
You think I'm giving up?
We have one less place to go.
What if it doesn't work?
The bus is counting on us.
You think I don't know? How do I burn down a city that's baptized in fire? How do I kill off an army that's dead? Time's slipping away now, and the best plan we've got is just put one inside Satan's head. If roles were reversed, God, I know they'd save me, but all my solutions involve murder sprees.
You have to stay the course and kill without remorse.
Yeah, that sounds fun, but what has that done? We're still where we stand.
The day isn't over yet. Our sun's not begun to set. No matter how small, the wings of a fly can create hurricanes.
Johnny Gat. Hope. I feel hope. For the first time I've ever in my life. Gat is the name that cuts through my father like a knife. The seed of rebellion, it grows like a weed, and someone so violent is just what I need. There's no turning back now, the die has been cast. This sinner has found her saint, I'll be free at last. The people, the music, it waits up above. I know I'll be happy when I find love. I know I'll be happy when I find love.
can't believe Pierce is missing this.